Hello to you, soul brothers and sisters, wherever you are, and welcome to another episode of Spiritual Awakening Journey. This is the second episode with dear friend Michael Everard. We have started last time with Michael since childhood, how we noticed that he has lived the life of many, like many young guys, children, with the parents and the activities, and then experimenting things in life and the usual life. However, in this life, we have noticed that he had weird incidents like the candle vision at age 3, and then activating his Kundalini without even taking courses with any specific people and so on. He just did it and having a feeling that he was the Messiah, Lucifer, something like that. And I remind you, my friends, at these times, we did not have YouTube. We did not have the corpus of data that we have today about Christ consciousness, about 3D Matrix 5D. Already, Michael was integrating all this and did not know what to do. And from now, we are going to continue the story with Michael. Before I forget, my friends, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button, please, to share the words, the stories of awakening to as many people as possible. Like if you like it, comment below if you want to know more about Michael. You will find information below to read. So, hello again, Michael.
Aloha, and thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
You are most welcome. You are most welcome. I'm sure your story will inspire many people, and that's the point with having these series and having different guests with different experiences, so that we notice that there is something common in all our stories.
Sure,
We are trying
sure,
to put the
absolutely.
pieces of the puzzle together. So last time we ended up at getting married, moving to Hawaii. So shall
Mhm.
we continue the story?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel like everything that has happened and is happening has everything to do with information. So if we can maybe start with a prayer to get us
Yes.
reinvigorated
Yes,
and
yes. We
set.
wanted to do this in the first video, but we
Yeah,
forgot we were dealing with technical sound problem.
sure,
So
sure.
I'd like to begin this, first of all, intention and prayer with Michael. We would like to ask our higher selves to be with us, guiding us, our guides, our angels, whoever there, divine source to speak through us so that these words go through to the public, because it is done out of love of humanity. It is done out of love to Mother Earth, the animal kingdoms, the plants, to everybody. We are here out of love. And these words that we are doing, we are really spreading them out of love. Thank you for listening to us. May these words inspire anybody out there. And so it
Thank
is.
you. That was lovely. Perfect. I love it. So
Yeah.
so we can pick up where I left off. I would like to sort of integrate another aspect of the story that occurred in 1993. My twin brother found our biological family. We have many aunts and uncles, and we discovered that our mother is an addict.
Mm.
Was I should say was an addict. She passed away a few years ago. I never really connected with her um, like maybe other people think I should have. But as part of my NA program, my sponsor basically advised me to um, not necessarily make that connection. like others might have thought. We do have a sister that is 5 years older, and we are very connected to her. And we have aunts and uncles on my mother's side that are still alive. And I also came to find out that my biological father was basically murdered at a young age, at the age of 27, because of a dispute with a rival motorcycle gang, being the Hells Angels. And yeah, all of that part of
Didn't
the
that
story
affect you? Didn't
is
that
very
affect
interesting.
you? Yeah, this story. Why are
Yeah.
you
Oh
sharing it
yeah.
with us? Did it affect you in some way,
Yeah.
emotionally?
Yeah. The story and that particular part of the story was told to me a few years ago, and by my father's half brother, who uh, also passed away. And for me, all of these pieces of the puzzle are important because they all sort of work together. They all add to the layers that make me who and what I am. So everything that I've ever learned and discovered matters because it
And
makes me who I am.
you have inherited your biological parents' DNA,
Right.
which
Right.
are your ancestors, but you have
Right.
also taken and learned from the parents who raised you, actually.
Yes. Correct. That is
So
correct.
okay, and any depression at that time because of all that?
So the depression um, has been a part of my life since the period of time where I started going to the NA meetings. So Narcotics Anonymous has been very helpful. Part of what I did in order to learn more was to go down, I'm just going to say, the rabbit hole of Buddhism, which is very paradoxical. And what it teaches us is to be aware that anything that we become attached to will lead to the desire to maintain that connection. And if you are afraid of losing that connection, then you suffer. And the practice of what's called the Eightfold Path is very interesting because it teaches you um, to not get attached and to do things in a manner that help you live a life that is conducive to the healing process. And when
It's
you
funny,
heal,
Michael. Yeah.
yeah,
No, go
what
ahead. You
I was just going to
heal.
say, the paradox of Buddhism is that yes, suffering exists, but why does it exist? Well, it exists so that you can rediscover your own divinity. And what I also did, and I got a little stuck with that because for me, Buddhism was a little bit of a confusing paradox because I didn't know how to get out of the idea that if I detach from everything, then I'm going to feel great. But that's not what happened. I felt quite miserable actually because I wasn't ready to ascend through the process of what it means to be a practicing Buddhist.
Mm.
So I then moved into the realm of Taoism, and that's where I really found a lot of solace. So I bought the Tao Te Ching and started reading it and learning how to accept the duality of life. And the duality of life is that there is a physical and a non-physical aspect. So that mindset helped me for many years. And as we moved to once we moved to Hawaii and we started to integrate into that realm, then it was a matter of being aware of what it means um, to be a part of a society, to be a part of a working member. And I eventually, so I had a couple of, odd jobs, and then I eventually got hired at Easy Music Center, and I worked there for almost 10 years.
Wow,
And during
that's
that
wonderful.
time,
May I,
yeah,
may I have a parenthesis? We're gonna get there because you talked about important things. I need to highlight them. First of all, the idea of detachment, because I mentioned it in previous videos, and how ironic, Michael, just today I've sent a message to someone, okay, in another country, telling them to detach from things because I felt they were still connected. Now, ascension means we need to detach energetically from everything. Jesus tells us in the Bible, I mean, if you want to go to the kingdom, you need to leave everything behind. Now, people get
yeah,
scared of that. What do you mean? I'm going to leave my jacket,
yeah,
I'm going to leave my house. And the universe has started putting me in this test. It's about being in flow. It is about I am, that whatever I need will be there. And the more we integrate of all that we are, this multidimensional, that we are not alone, that we are, there is much more than this going to the job and doing this and doing that, then we can start letting go of things, whether they are
yes,
clothes, whether they are food, whether they are emotional
material things.
entanglement in relationships, in drugs, as you said, in any sort or form or shape of detachment. Because, as also Jesus tells us, the kingdom of heaven is like this treasure you find in the field. You leave everything and you go for that treasure. So,
Yes,
this is first thing I need to say, and I mentioned it before. And attachment to things in the 3D matrix keeps us coming back again and incarnating again to come to the 3D matrix. It is only, even if it's an attachment to anger, if I'm angry with you, or if there is an
yes,
emotional connection to somebody, you're going to come back and resolve that issue. Unless you are in 0 point energy, you cannot float and expand. This is one. Second, you agree with that?
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Second, when you struggled with the addiction, and this is wonderful. Do you know why it is wonderful? Because you discovered that your mom was an alcoholic. So you were clearing the bloodline, the family bloodline of the mother, the
Hmm.
ancestral generations, which some of them are us. We are our own ancestors, the grandparents, and we don't know. So by clearing yourself now, you have cleared many timelines, and they are
Yes,
grateful for you doing that part for them.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
I
wonderful.
agree. I
I'm
agree.
sorry
And
for the, yeah, sorry for the
no, no,
parentheses, but
no. I agree with everything you're saying. And, the idea of detaching from things, but there are things that are physical and things that are non-physical. So there's a duality of that whole idea. So you have physical reality, and then you have the imagination, which coexists with what we think of. And when we talk about the 3D and use the word matrix, I love that word. That word matrix is really interesting because it's derived from the Latin word mater, which means mother. So
mm,
if we tell ourselves, oh, we need to escape the matrix, and one of my favorite movie series is The
the
Matrix,
matrix, yeah.
and for me, the idea of, oh, you have to escape the matrix. Well, you have to become a part of it. You have to know it. You have to integrate. You have to understand that all of the characters in that movie
Mm,
served a purpose. And what is their purpose? Well, the purpose, and again, it'll depend on the character, who that character is. It all works together.
mm,
So for me, escaping the matrix. Well,
That's
You
escaping.
don't
Did I
have to.
use the term escape? Not escape.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it, and for me it makes sense, because if you feel like you need to escape something, you have not surrendered to God's will.
Exactly. Escaping is an energy, which means you are still attached in a cord of resistance that is escape. No,
Yes.
it's simply allowing things, accepting all that is, and then miracles happen after that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly right. So
Huh.
if we know that resistance to anything, so resist, if whatever you resist will persist. Would
Mhm.
you agree to that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So when you resist something, you're saying no, thank you. But whatever, and this falls very nicely into the law of attraction, which became a part of my life prior to moving uh, to Hawaii, because again, I was part of an organization called Primerica, which helped people to invest in um, term life insurance and to invest separately into mutual funds so that you can become financially independent. Well, all of what I learned during that period of my life, all of the sales techniques, asking qualifying questions, asking people to tell me about themselves so that I could ask them even deeper questions, knowing whether or not they would qualify for life insurance, helped me to understand that overall process of selling. And what's interesting about selling is not telling. You don't tell somebody, oh, you need X, Y, and Z. You ask them questions that allow you to discover what they really want, and then you offer them the good, the better, and the best choices for their own uh, their own reality. So for me, all of these things, all of the questions, all of the training that I received helped me to sort of explore the different realms. And again, the sales training helped me to get the job at Easy Music Center, where I became a sales manager and all of that good stuff. So
Yeah, and it allows you to get in contact with people and read them more and all this. So basically, just to here clarify if I said something unclear, ascension is simply moving into a higher frequency if we are ready. If
yeah,
we are ready, and it is allowing broader experiences into our lives. That's all, and
yeah.
that's it. So now we move back to Florida. So you found that job in the music, and you had that steady job, right?
Uh-huh.
You,
Yeah. So I'm sorry, you said Florida. Did you mean Hawaii?
yeah, Hawaii. Did I say Florida? I have
You
friends
said
in
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's okay.
sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
no, no.
sorry, guys.
That's
Hawaii,
perfect.
aloha, aloha, Hawaii.
So the whole thing with moving to Hawaii had to do with our desire to raise our daughter in a place where, and Tammy, my wife, is from Hawaii, so we got to raise Sophia in that environment, and we lived on Oahu, and we had 13 really awesome years in what most people would consider paradise. So
Paradise, yeah. I was watching a historical, they are still arguing about Atlantis,
yeah,
but some say that it could be around that area as well, the old Atlantis.
yeah,
Some say it is no, it's near, Asian. Some say started in the US, wherever you were in Hawaii. I thought about you. I remembered, oh, Michael
yeah,
is there. And then they
yeah,
spread, so we don't know yet.
yeah. So Atlantis, Lemuria. There's a handful of we'll just call special civilizations that existed at a point in time, and we're either going to remember and figure out where those places were, or we're going to find new civilizations and new things and discover, more about ourselves in a way that will make a huge difference. So,
Hmm.
again, for me, living in Hawaii was great. Working at
Blissful,
Easy Music. I'm sorry.
blissful. It was
It
blissful.
was very blissful overall, and yet there were times where I did get very depressed, and then it was like, oh my gosh, how is it that I'm depressed? I live in Hawaii, but I'm depressed. How does that work? Well, everything that you experience makes you who you are.
Hmm.
And if you accept who and what you are, and you eventually can understand and know why you exist, then everything expands. Your consciousness uh, sort of quantifies your reality, and your awareness qualifies how you feel about the reality that you are experiencing.
So
And
I
for
think the
me,
depression did not come from the place. You were, say, in quote unquote paradise with the wife and the kids and the job. You were supposed to have it all, yet you got depressed. This is in how I read it. There is something within you that is looking forward to more answers. These are the roots of the depression. So this assures us, this is a confirmation that having the perfect life in a perfect place is not enough. There is more, more to life, I suppose. No?
well, absolutely. I mean, there's always more to whatever it is that you're
Yeah.
experiencing. So if and again, going back to the idea that everything is information, people say that everything is energy. Well, uh, my favorite
Information is
physicist.
energy, Michael. Information
Yeah.
is
Oh,
energy.
uh,
No?
I yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, here's the interesting thing. My favorite physicist, being Albert Einstein, um, had a beautiful equation: E equals mc squared. So, that equation is integral to just basically everything that has to do with physics. So Albert Einstein passed away believing that there was no there was no there was no way to combine everything, um, in terms of quantum mechanics and classical physics, um, because his idea about quantum mechanics was that it had to do with this idea, like one of the things is called quantum entanglement. He thought that was spooky and didn't understand it. But he took what Sir Isaac Newton did with gravity, and even Sir Isaac Newton didn't fully understand who created gravity. He understood sort
Yeah.
of how it worked from his frame of reference, but he didn't really know what was causing what seemed to be an attractive force. But the attractive force of gravity, if you're viewing it from, let's say, a position on Earth, a localized position, you're not really seeing the deeper meaning of it. You're seeing something else. So Einstein understood that, and started to so he did two things. He came up with special relativity, which had to deal with the velocity of light, and he took general relativity and expanded that into the idea of motion being relative. Everything is relative. What we haven't been able to do is understand the bigger picture, and we can get into more of this later, but
Yeah.
that's just to kind of give you a taste.
So it's like in short, basically quantum physics came and changed our perception, and it still is, and there is much more to explore and discover. So now What special things happened in Florida?
Hawaii.
Why do I keep saying in Hawaii? I'm sorry, guys. Hawaii. I'm gonna
You're,
write
I
here
think I think
Hawaii, Hawaii, Aloha,
part
Hawaii.
part of part of the reason I believe is that my wife and I for our honeymoon actually flew to Florida and
Uh-huh.
we did a cruise,
Ah,
and the cruise included Cozumel, Mexico. It
ah.
included the Cayman Islands, and it also included Jamaica. So maybe that's why you're thinking of Florida,
Yes,
because you
yes,
have that vibration.
yes,
But
yes, yes.
for 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 me, living in Hawaii, the important aspect of it is that it was an opportunity to continue to explore what it means to be human, what it means to work at a place such as Easy Music Center, and what happened for me was really interesting during the lockdowns, the whole thing
Yeah,
with with the
2020, guys.
masking.
2020, guys.
Yeah, so once COVID-19 became a thing, what I started to do was understand that it was a very interesting deception,
Mm,
and without getting into too many details about that,
mm,
what I came to understand and realize is that there came a point in time where all of the people that I worked with, the managers, all wrote me up. They said I was doing things incorrectly, that I was not being a team player, that I was whatever. So I just decided that I was no longer welcome there and made the decision to leave.
that was
And
to
that,
your own benefit, and that was divinely orchestrated. Let's see why.
correct,
So you left.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. So I left at the beginning of September, but prior to that, on April 12th of 2020, which again happened to be Easter Sunday, I accepted fully who and what I am, and had the revelation of knowing why I exist, and I started to write.
Okay, Michael, now I
Uh,
need you to repeat that. This is very important information we're getting, when you are in the middle of the movie. Okay. So on Easter Sunday, Michael, it was 12 April 2020.
yes, yes,
Michael had a revelation on who he was and what he was supposed to do. Can we know that, please? Who are you
yeah.
and what are you supposed to do?
So I mean, quite simply, I am Michael Wilson Evrard. I am a philosopher, and I am meant to write about all of the things that I had contemplated during my entire lifetime. And, being a philosopher, that was very important to me. And through the course of uh, maybe 7 months or so, um, I had decided to incorporate the writing into books. So my first trilogy is called Sight, Sound, Spirit, and I completed that trilogy on August 8th of 2021,
Oh,
and
uh-huh.
um, that was great. And then the next day, I extrapolated 3 of the articles, including the psychology of religion, the spirituality of science, and the philosophy of faith, and started the next trilogy. In, let's say, November of 2021, I started the next 2 books. And then in April of 2022, I started the last 2 of the total of 10 books
Oh my
that will
God.
complete the trilogy, that will complete not just the original uh, idea, but will be sort of my offering to the world. And I'm between 50 and 75% completed. I have between 50 and 75% completion of the remaining 7 books. And I was writing between 1,000 and 1,500 words a day.
Oh,
Starting in April of 2020 and moving forward. And since I'm going to just kind of cut to the chase a little bit here. Moving back to
just Michael,
California.
we have now 7 minutes. We can continue on a part 3. Don't worry. So,
Okay, that'll work. So,
okay, so what Michael is saying now here, basically, you see how the divine, how the universe works. He was put outside the work, okay, at a specific time. That's divinely, or it happened to me as well, actually. I mean, I used to teach at university, and then suddenly they didn't want me to teach there. I was so angry and upset.
yeah,
And this is when I started having these downloads and learning and expanding. Now, his books and his ideas, guys, are downloads. Yes, we receive downloads when we
yes,
connect, and his words, his thoughts were outpouring. He is a transmitter. He is the pillar of information, of light, of energy, source energy. Each one of us has something to offer. I have a color to offer, you have another color to offer, so that we create this divine painting, if you want. So Michael was this was his mission, and he understood that he needed to do that, and to link the pieces of the puzzle. And you said before, whether Atlantis or whatever, what I think, the way I see it, each one of us, that's why I started creating these series. I think to remember and do things, we need to all work collaboratively, put each one of us a piece of the puzzle, so that we see the bigger picture. Because it's just like as you are on a mountain, one is standing to the left, one is standing to the right, one front, one back. We're like collecting the pieces so that we see the whole. So this outpouring of writing and of words and deep thoughts and ideas. Okay, Michael, you will write your books and we'll link them below so that people will know. In the next episode, we'll talk more about that. Okay,
okay,
guys, this is good for
sounds good.
you.
Yeah,
So we will elaborate on that more. So, and this is what happens when we awaken. The universe shakes us, puts us in different situations to explore things, to learn
mhm,
things about the world, about ourselves. And each one of us has a gift to give to the world. And
yes,
thank you, Michael, for being. And
thank you.
I'll see you next time. My friends, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, to like the video. Please do comment, share your experiences with us if you have experienced anything of that. And read about Michael and check his work. Michael, I see you in a third episode. All right?
Sounds great. Great. I love
Aloha.
it. Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.